So all of this is coming back to us. And I mean, breast cancer is on the rise. So why is this happening? And what are we doing about it? We're not doing really anything about it, but tonight I'm going to tell you there's 3 things we can do about it, because we really can't fight corporate greed. You know, we're not going to, it's the way it looks like in the government these days. It's like, how do we, I think the corporations are running the government. What we can do is choose what we're going to buy and what we're going to eat, which is hard to do. So there's 3 things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the water we drink, the food, which is the organics that we can buy, and also the fish we eat. Okay? Those are 3 things. I'm going to start with the water. I'm going to pass out, as part of my visual props, I relabeled these Arrowhead bottles, and I see you guys can pass it around. I see some of you guys are drinking Arrowhead. Okay? If you look at these labels, this one has a toxic warning on it. It says filtered contaminated tap water. Warning, U.S. drinking water may contain over 2,100 toxic chemicals. Pesticides, weed killer, herbicides, heavy toxic, including arsenic. Now, do you know that there was a study done of the top 100 water companies? And actually, I have it here, Arrowhead, because we're not trying to go through them all. But Arrowhead, in the 5-gallon jugs, had arsenic. It had chloroform. It had nitrates. The EPA limit for arsenic is 10 parts per billion. All right? Our tap water in San Fernando Valley has 4 parts per billion. It's ridiculous. I mean, arsenic is such a toxic chemical. This is what it does. This is somebody who's come in contact with arsenic. These are tumors. It's highly toxic. So I wouldn't, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want any arsenic in my water. There's some waters that don't have. Whole Foods 365, no arsenic. It actually tested very clean. There's a few others, but Arrowhead did not do that well. In fact, the little bottles like this had arsenic. So 3.2 parts per billion. You know, and how do they know? How do they get this 10 parts per billion? It drives me nuts, right? What do? Rats can only live 2 to 3 years. But you know, cancer takes 10, 12, 15, 20 years to develop. Now we know that. We know what's it called? Asbestos, okay? Asbestos, as a fact, takes 15 to 20 years to develop cancers and Crohn's and lungs. So what are we doing? We're toxifying ourselves with this water. So the only way around this, number one, is if you take the tap water, you have to filter it. How do you filter it? There's an NSF filters that you can buy. They're relatively expensive, about $100 a year. Okay? The more advanced ones for the whole house, if you own a house, $1,500. But if you live in an apartment, $100 filter takes out arsenic, 50% of the chlorine, a lot of the toxic waste. So, $100 filter. It's not bad. That's $10 a month. So that's for the water. LA water supply, if you're drinking tap water, I don't even cook with tap water. Okay, I have a $100 filter, and I do all my boiling, make my rice, all my dog, I don't give her tap water. I only give her filtered water. San Fernando Valley. If you can see that chart, that's San Fernando Valley. That's at maximum was over the EPA limit, okay, for arsenic. The average was about 4 parts per billion. How do they know this stuff? That's what I don't get. How do they know 4 parts per, how do you know 2 parts per billion? How do you know in 15 years I won't get cancer if I have 1 part per billion? You know? I mean, they can't test it. Certainly can't test it on rats. I can test it on people. So that's water. Get yourself a filter. All right? $100. But be careful what you're drinking. In fact, go on Google. There's a lot of different sites that test these bottled waters. And you can see some of the best ones, 365, but it's important. All right, number 2, organics. How many people eat organic foods? Okay. You don't have, I started about 10 years ago, but I progressed. I started maybe at 10%, and I think I'm at 70, 80% now, only because when I go out, I can't have organics. So I try to choose vegetables. But organics make a big difference. You know, one of the things they do is they add more muscle tone and less fat. Why? You're not ingesting, with all the meats, you're not ingesting those hormones. Okay? Pigs, chickens, and steer, cows, they give them hormones. It's in the milk, it's in the eggs. What are those hormones for? To make them grow faster and bigger. Well, you're ingesting that, and barbecuing it and frying it ain't gonna get out those hormones. You ingest it. That's why a lot of our kids, you know, they're growing so quickly. You know, it's amazing. They are ingesting a lot of hormones. It's ridiculous. So that little thing I passed out, the black, that's your little kit, by the way. That's your survival kit for seafood and for pesticide. There are what's called the dirty dozen, and if you buy anything, those 12, peaches, apples, sweet peppers, celery, nectarines, strawberries, cherries, lettuce, imported grapes, carrots, and pears. Okay? If you buy anything, buy those organic. And you can get all of them. Whole Foods has them. They're not that much more expensive, I checked. You might spend for blueberries another $1. You go to Whole Foods, the organic blueberries are right above the regular blueberries, and I think it's like $1.50 more. So it's worth it. And blueberries is high antioxidant, very high antioxidant. But let's talk about organics. Organic foods are safer. Why are they safer? They don't have, obviously, the chemicals and antibiotics. And they're safer for our children. Because children are more susceptible to the pesticides. And what they've done studies where they've taken children off regular food and into organics, and they've reduced their blood level of pesticides. They've actually could see the blood level reduced. And I thought that was amazing. I mean, our children are running around with blood levels of pesticides. That's horrible. All right, the other big thing about organic farming is it saves the planet. It reduces global warming, which is a big thing, because there's less of a carbon footprint. You know, there's no chemicals, it's much more reduced, and we can grow more organics. So if you buy organics, you know, you're making a statement out there, because the more you buy, the more the stores are going to order. You've probably noticed that more and more stores are getting organics. There's now sections like at Ralph's. It's a small section, but it's a section. Okay? There's less agricultural chemicals, and pesticides weaken the immune system. They also harm your brain. Pesticides harm your brain. Studies have said chemicals can damage nerve cells and deplete the brain chemical dopamine. If you know what that is, that's the feel-good hormone. Okay? So that's the case on organics. Let's move to fish in the oceans. Have you guys seen this sign? I'll pass it on. Have you ever seen this sign? Sushi bars?
Yeah.
It's at every single sushi bar I've been to. It's at Costco, right above the fish. You've seen this sign? Okay. Why, if there's warning telling you not to eat swordfish is off the chart, by the way, with the shark and swordfish. Why wouldn't they just pull it off the shelf? Why they put the sign? And I've watched people at Costco. This sign is here, right? And all the fish is here. Nobody sees this thing. And it's never in red, by the way. It's always in black. So that's the sign. You guys can be careful with this. These 4 fish are terrible. So that other thing in your little kit, you can keep that in your wallet or purse, whatever's convenient. But you pull that out. If you pull it out, it'll tell you the best fish to eat for the environment and also for your health. So watch for the mercury levels in the fish. Very important. So finally, we can change, if anything we can change switching to organics, watching our fish, change our food, we'll change our health, and we'll change the planet. We can do it. Because more corporations will start to bring more and more organics. It's just a matter of demand, right? It's just a matter of demand. They just want to make money, right? So be well, healthy. Thank you.